If you're thinking about moving to Mississauga, or perhaps you're already here and you've hit a point, what I like to call the squeeze point, where the toys are literally everywhere, the kids are sharing rooms, and you keep dreaming about a bigger backyard, this video is for you. Today, I'm going to walk you through the 3 major things that most buyers overlook when they're moving in Mississauga. And these are not just fun little facts. These are actual things that could affect your equity, your commute, and honestly, your quality of life and your happiness in your day-to-day living. Now, I know most of you are jumping on realtor.ca or House Sigma, and you think you're seeing the whole picture. But after helping hundreds of families like you move and navigate in Mississauga, I promise you, what is on the screen and what's actually happening on the street are 2 very different things. And before we dive in, I've put together my complete Mississauga relocation guide. It goes deep into all the core communities, school catchments, neighborhood vibe, and most of my clients find it super helpful. You can grab it for free right now. Just click on the link in the description below. So go get it. So number 1, this is the thing that surprises almost every buyer that I work with. Mississauga is not just one big suburb. It's actually a collection of distinct villages, kind of hidden inside a modern city. When people look at the map, they just see a residential grid, streets, subdivisions, and they think, well, a house is a house. But if you've lived here for any amount of time, you know that the lifestyle in a city center condo is completely different from what you will find in Streetsville or down in Clarkson, for example. So let me show you what I mean. So if we look here on the map, you see Streetsville right here, okay? We literally call this the village in the city. You've got historical buildings, local festivals, that feeling where you actually know your neighbors' names. It has a soul to it. Now compare that to somewhere like Churchill Meadows, which is also fantastic, by the way. And it's a master plan subdivision. It's the newest subdivision, in Mississauga. It's very different. And here's what's really interesting. I had like a family last year working with us, and very lovely couple with kids. They were totally convinced that they wanted new construction. And that was the non-negotiable for them. But when we did a little detour and we went through the older streets of Clarkson, together with mature trees, walking distance to the village shops, and that established community feeling, I completely saw how they changed their mindset right away. And that's why I always say you have to match your lifestyle to the village first, and then we find the house. And if you skip that step, you might end up with a beautiful home, but it doesn't fit how your family actually lives. Okay, number 2, and honestly, this one makes people go, wait, seriously? There is a microclimate in South Mississauga. I know that sounds very science-like, right? But stay with me because this is actually very relevant to your buying decision. And I'm going to show it to you on the map. So look at here. When you're on the map, everything looks flat and it's the same. But in neighborhoods just south of the QEW, like Port Credit, Lorne Park, Clarkson, the proximity to the Lake Ontario creates a genuinely different living experience. And in the middle of a July heat wave, and you know how brutal those humid GTA summers can be, and it can be 2 to 3 degrees cooler just south of the highway. And that's because of the lake effect. And then in the winter, often is a little bit milder too. Now, why does this matter to you as a buyer? Yes, it affects your hydro bill, but more importantly, this is the part where people don't really think about. It affects how much you actually use your outdoor space. So think about summer evenings from, down near the lake. You get this constant breeze. You can eat dinner on the patio and you really enjoy that. Your kids are playing outside. You're outside more often as well. Versus if you're way up in the north of the city on a humid August night, you're probably inside with the AC on full blast and the patio furniture, well, is just decorating the yard. So if outdoor living is part of why you're upsizing, and for most of my clients, it really is, this lakeside factor is a massive part of the value equation that you will never see in a standard MLS listing description. So now you know. So Here's this one here. This is my personal favorite. This is Mississauga's greatest hidden assets, and most people have absolutely no idea that it exists. We have over 225 kilometers of trails and 500 parks in the city. That is so impressive, right? But here's the part that buyers don't really know. These trails are interconnected in a way where you can actually traverse almost the entire city without ever crossing a major road. Can you believe that? And running right through the heart of the city of Mississauga is the Credit River. So check this out. So here's a really quick geography lesson here that I'm going to show you, and I think is actually very cool. So the Credit River, it flows from Orangeville up above the Niagara Escarpment, and then it winds its way south through the entire watershed. Oops. And it goes right into Lake Ontario through Port Credit. And that is like 100 kilometers pathway connecting people to nature, Indigenous heritage, and the river itself. And here's the fun fact that I love sharing. The name Credit actually comes from French fur traders who used to supply goods to Indigenous people on credit against furs that would be delivered the following spring. And the trading post was right at the mouth of the river, and that is now called Port Credit. So the neighborhood literally got its name from that history. How cool is that, right? Now, here's another very interesting thing here in Streetsville. Because that's where I live, very close by, the river still provides spawning areas for salmon and rainbow trout. Can you imagine? Every year around Thanksgiving, we can watch the salmon right here. It's really cool, and people are always surprised by that. And that's my personal favorite trail myself. It's right along the Credit River here in Streetsville. It is stunning. You've got mature trees, sound of the water, and you generally forget that you're in the middle of a city of almost 800,000 people. For me, this is really a sanctuary. And that's exactly my point. I have clients who live in East Credit, Erin Mills, and their kids can bike to their friends' houses through the park to the community center entirely through these green corridors without crossing a single main street. It's like having a private recreation highway right in your backyard. How cool is that? So when I'm helping a family upsize, we don't just look at the interior square footage of the house. I look at what I would call the lifestyle square footage. Does the backyard back onto a trail? Can you walk your dog along the river for an hour without seeing a car? Can the kids actually get outside and roam around freely in nature? This is the ultimate lifestyle upgrade in the GTA. And it's what makes Mississauga feel like a sanctuary, even though you're in the heart of a major metro hub. And it is too undervalued, I would say, when people are searching online. We don't see that. It doesn't show up in any filter. And now you know, and I love sharing that. Okay, so the village factor, the lakeside microclimate, and the hidden trail network. Three things that most buyers completely miss out, and three things that genuinely change how you live once you move here in Mississauga. The reason I share all of this is because real estate isn't just a transaction to me. Yes, I love to look at the data, the trends, the return on investment, the pricing, but 20 years of actually living here in Mississauga, that's what tells me about the heart of moving here and living in this amazing city. Whether you're relocating from another city for a new job, or you're already in Mississauga and it's time to upsize because your family has outgrown your space, you need a strategy. You need to know things like where is the flight paths are, the school boundaries, the village vibes, the stuff that doesn't show up easily on Google. So grab that relocation guide below. The link is right here. And it's your first step to becoming a market expert before you ever set foot in a single house showing. And if you're ready to have a real conversation about your specific move, my number and my email are right in the description. Just reach out anytime. I genuinely would love to connect with you and have a conversation. I'm Maria Ho. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today in my kitchen. Have a great day.